now we want to watch. We know what to watch this weekend, but Nisha, there is a book we need to all read. Is that correct?
I absolutely have a recommendation for everybody. Utah is home to such incredible authors. We're chatting with one who is launching her new book. Here it is. It is The Ring Keeper in this sponsored interview. Welcome to the show, Ann Park. Good to have you. This is your second book.
Yes.
Tell us about it. A little bit of the synopsis of The Ring Keeper.
Okay, so for starters, I would definitely write fantasy. So if you're into wizards and magic spells and dragons and those kinds of things, then you're in the right place. And this is generated for a young adult audience, generally, which means anybody from, 12 up to about 95. If they like fantasy.
It's a wide range.
Right.
Everyone will find something they like about it. Mother and daughter are the main characters?
Yes, and I thought it was kind of interesting. I did something kind of unusual with the story structure. I started with a story that goes on, and then there is an arc about a totally different character that is at a different time, and then the end, the third section of the book, brings everything all together. And so it's kind of an unusual structure, but I really felt like I wanted to write it that way, and so I did, and my editor tried to talk me out of it, but I wouldn't budge.
How do you keep that flow when you're writing and know which direction you're headed next?
So I think flow is an interesting thing for an author because it's either going really well or it's not, but the thing that I love most about writing is that feeling of just being totally carried away, totally consumed, just totally into a story. And I'd like to carry that on to the readers. That's the whole reason I write, is because I love that feeling. I love just being completely involved with the book.
You get immersed in the characters as much as you are hoping that everybody else does. This is your second book. It's not part of a series?
No, and we talked about that a little bit. If you're a fantasy reader, sometimes, I don't know about anybody else, but my pet peeve is picking up a book, I'm like, ooh, love the cover, this looks good, and you look at the fine print and it's the fourth book of something, and like, oh, well, I guess I can't read that because I don't know where the other three are. So I wrote a book that is just a standalone story. It has a beginning, a middle, and an ending. I love books that actually have an ending because sometimes these giant fantasy series start to feel like there never is an ending.
You leave us hanging right to the next book and the next
forever.
Book. Yes. Who's this for? You mentioned, everyone from 12 to 95, but who would find this book most interesting, do you think?
So people who like fantasy, who like stories that have, this story has a lot of dark events in it, but I don't like to write things that don't end well. Like, real life has a lot of really hard endings and hard experiences, and the thing that I love most about fantasy is that it's okay to have a happy ending. And so no matter what tribulation you go through during the story, you're going to come out okay in the end. And so I really love that. That's part of my philosophy for writing, because I feel like sometimes the critics really, the more depressing it is, the more they love it. And so I don't want to be on that boat. Like, I want something that ends well and has a happy ending.
You said you can also feel good about your kids reading it, parents. That's important to you.
It is important to me because I have teenage daughters. We were talking about that before.
So do I.
Right. And I don't want to put scenes that are inappropriate for them or language that's inappropriate. I just want them to feel okay reading it. I don't want to be embarrassed if they pick up my book behind my back. Like, wow, Mom.
Mom, what were you
what
writing?
What did you write?
Is this your last book? Do you have more floating around in your head? What happens next?
Oh, I have so many floating in my head. So I'm definitely working on a lot more books. It's just too much fun to quit. There's so much more to say and so many more stories to tell, and I'm really excited to keep working on my writing. So definitely not the last book.
All right, where can people find it?
They can find this book at any major online bookseller. I was so excited to come and talk to you today that I put the ebook on sale for 99 cents. So if everyone wants to go and buy it for 99 cents,
thank you so much.
That would be wonderful.
abc4.com/dailydish. Everybody, we will link you again. It is AJ Park, Ann Park, The Ring Keeper. Go check it out. We love to support Utah authors. Thank you so much for sponsoring this interview, and we'll be back with more Dish after this.